there. There we go. 3, 2, and 1. Well, Mayor Wiza, welcome back. Mayor's Monday here at WSAU, WSAU.com. First thing, right off the bat, we'll go with something easy. Given the rise in the popularity of the false nine formation and tactical agreement or tactical arrangement in soccer, is there still a place in the game for a natural ball controlling striker that can play at the top of the box?
Well, it all depends which philosopher you believe in when it comes to the use of the aforementioned balls. Now, I got nothing. Jesus, Michael, come on. Why do you do this to me? I'm trying to ad lib a little bit, and I can't even do that well.
Oh
Right?
man, there we go. That's a win for me. That's a win for me. Yeah, of course, just trying to keep you on your toes here as we get into the winter season, which is what we have to do. I mean,
do you know the name of the best goalie in all of soccer?
Right now it would be Manuel Neuer of Munich.
Annette.
Annette.
See, there you go. Strike one for Mike.
Boom. There we go. Mike Wiza has leveled the score here. But yeah, keeping you on your toes because, well, that's what we have to do this time of year. I mean, we've already had our first snowfall of the season. We've already had our first snowfall melt of the season. Yeah. We have already had our first incident in which in a 24-hour period, there was snow on a lawn and then a lawnmower on the lawn. So yeah, stay on your toes,
that for
people,
a second,
right?
Michael.
You see how I did this? I kept you on your toes because we want everybody to be on their toes.
The first snowfall of the year. Now, I'm guessing that most people that live here were here last winter, or the winter before, or the winter before. And many of us have been through winters every single year of our life. We know that snow happens every year. We know that snow makes the sidewalks and stairs and roads slipperier. There are things that we do every year to prepare for the snow or to deal with the snow. So, the first snowfall, there were cars in ditches and people taking the corners too fast. Slow down. This is not rocket science or rocket surgery, as some people would say.
Mm-hmm.
But winter's going to be here. Make sure you're prepared. Have your emergency stuff in your car like you do every year, right? A bag of sand. Make sure your cell phone's charged. A snow scraper. Warm clothes or a blanket, things like that, in case you get stranded. But for the love of Pete, slow down. Give yourself more time to stop from that car in front of you or the stop sign or a school bus. Take the corners a little bit slower because your tires may not be great or there may be ice underneath. So take those precautions. We do also want to remind people that with snow comes the shoveling. And in the city of Stevens Point, if you have a boulevard, meaning there's grass between your sidewalk and the street, you have 24 hours after the snow stops falling to clear your sidewalk. And please clear the entire width, especially for those with mobility issues that may be using walkers or scooters or even wheelchairs. Make sure that the approaches where the intersections cross, the crosswalks, please make sure those get cleared too, because it doesn't help to have someone who has some mobility issues try and navigate a big mound of snow or ice when it comes to crossing the street. If you don't have if you don't have that grass between the street and the sidewalk, we'll give you a little extra time so you have 48 hours after the snow stops falling to clear the snow. Now, it's in all of our best interest to clear the snow as soon as possible, because when people walk on it or ride on it, you're going to get ice buildup and it makes it that much harder. But these are city ordinances and we do enforce that. We want to make sure that people have safe, clean walking paths. We want to make sure that the drivers are able to see people coming too. So we don't want big snow piles on the corners. So, just use a little common sense. And if this is your first winter in Wisconsin, call me and we'll go over the rules.
And be prepared because
yes,
you could prepare for the worst, which is always, kind of in people's best interest. And but if you have the extra salt left over in the salt shed at the end of the year, that's great, which is, I'm sure, your plan every year as the city.
Yeah. Well, and there's other things to think of too. I mean, I'm not your go-to fix-it guy, but Make sure your furnace filters are replaced. Make sure that your coolant in your cars are topped off. Just, all of these things just to prepare to avoid a really bad day sometime, probably on the coldest day of the year, because that's usually when things happen.
And given that as well, you always want people to be checking in on their neighbors, because we're probably, I'm gonna say it, we're probably due for a polar vortex at some point this
Shut your
winter.
mouth.
And in the event that the phenomenon happens, you want to make sure you check on your neighbors, because it can be a bad day at the office for a lot of people, and that's
Yeah. Well, and you're absolutely right. More than just winter. I mean, check on your neighbors all the time. That's what community is, right? If your neighbor needs help breaking the leaves or cutting the grass, or maybe just a home cooked meal once in a while, help out. But especially in winter, if they need some assistance in shoveling heavy snow or removing heavy snow, maybe offer to help them out. Check on them occasionally to make sure everything's okay. You want to be really careful using space heaters or any other form of heat other than a normal furnace. Carbon monoxide is a big thing this time of year. Electrical fires. You want to be safe because, boy, I know it's going to get brutally cold like it does every single winter in Wisconsin. So be prepared for it and try and avoid some of those bad days.
Absolutely. And as far as the city's business goes, we've got some potential development downtown that I know you're pretty excited about. Tell us what's going on with the Shopco building.
So we've been working with the owner of the Shopko building as far as redeveloping it. We had a concept plan, looked for a grant that didn't actually come to fruition. But it seems a little more challenging than we thought it would be. So the Common Council has authorized us to purchase the former Shopko building at a reasonable cost, of course, and we're going to kind of then control the redevelopment. We're already working with two separate developers. The entire block now will be city owned once the store that's in there once their lease is up middle of this month, I believe. And then we're going to control the narrative there. One of the things that we've got planned is a brand new functional transit hub. Right now, we just have a small shelter. There's not even a place for our drivers to use a bathroom. So we're going to have a functional enclosed shelter with proper facilities for our transit hub. We're adding some additional public space that's a little more usable with a stage and some electricity and some lawn space for picnics or public events. And then as well, we're going to have some mixed use development, some housing, some commercial. Of course, it's right downtown. So the main level facing Main Street is planned to be commercial and business. With some housing above that, while also minimizing the impact on public parking. That's going to be a big one too, because lots of people come downtown and they want convenient parking right in front of the store that they want to go in. But boy, we've got hundreds of spots within a block of the downtown area. So we're going to try and keep the parking as public as we possibly can as this goes through. Now, these are conceptual. Mm-hmm. We plan on bringing some ideas through the proper channels, Plan Commission and Redevelopment Authority and so forth over the next month or so, just to get some public input and modify the design in all likelihood, and then try and incorporate that into a kind of a master plan.
And one thing that I know you've discussed about this in the past, again, you're still in the planning stages for this.
Yeah.
This concept might look a little different in 2 months than it does right now. But I know one thing that has been part of this is outdoor performance space, maybe a little mini shell amphitheater for an impromptu Shakespeare in downtown type performance. I know that's something that really goes kind of hand in hand with what Stevens Point is all about.
It is really trying to embrace the arts, culture, creativity, and just the general use of public space. We've got hundreds of people more living downtown now with the creation of Northside Yard and the Berkshire and all of the other development that's going on. We want to make sure that they have that usable space, for gathering. You live in an apartment, you don't really have a whole lot of space to kick back a lawn chair or something, but we want to make sure that those spaces are available. On the west end of Main Street, we have the public square. That gets utilized quite a bit with music and the farmers market and things like that during the summer. We want to do the same thing on the eastern end, allowing the public space there. Who knows? Maybe there'll even be a spot for a craft vendor market or something along those lines. I think once it gets built, you and I should probably do maybe Abbott and Costello's Who's on First. We'll rehearse that,
Yeah.
and we can be the first performance.
Absolutely.
How's your Shakespeare?
What's that? How's my Shakespeare?
Yeah.
Um,
Poor Yorick. I knew him well, Horatio. No?
sure.
But
Yeah.
soft, what light through yonder window breaks? 'Tis the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill thy envious moon, who's already pale and sick. No, nothing?
I know Kung Fu.
Surely not everyone was kung fu fighting.
See, folks, this is what happens when Mayor Wiza and I get together. So one more thing before we let you go, before we get to the Abbott and Costello performances, you always want people to get involved in city government. You know, that's how you got your start in this as former city council president, former worker in the private sector who now sits in the mayor's office. Mayor's seat not up for election this year, but you do have some city council aldermanic districts that'll be up for election, and at least 2 of those, maybe more, are going to need new representation.
You know, and that's true. Just for the mayor's seat, if given the proper golden parachute, I'm willing to consider offers. But no, in all seriousness, though, every year about half of the council is up for re-election. In 2024, even numbered districts come up. So the even numbered districts in even numbered years, odd numbered districts in odd numbered years. Ironically, there's a little sense to municipal government in that regard. So districts 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 are up this year. We've already had non-candidacy papers, meaning the people who are currently serving have already publicly proclaimed and legally proclaimed that they're not going to run. So that's District 2, which is the police department, North Michigan Avenue, Stanley Street, on campus in that area. That's District 2. And District 6 has also said that they're not going to run. District 6 is on the east side of McDill, Heffron Street, Dan's Drive, that area. If you want to see the boundary maps, you can go to stevenspoint.com and search for aldermanic maps, and you'll see that. But those 2 already have said that they're not running. So those seats will be wide open. The other seats, 4, 8, and 10, have people in them. We don't know if the incumbent is running, but that certainly shouldn't stop anyone if you think you can do a better job of challenging those seats. You can pick up your paperwork, and this throws most people off because the election isn't until April. But you can pick up your paperwork and start collecting your signatures. You need 20 signatures from your district. You can start doing that on December 1st. You have to have those papers turned in by this year, I think, or next year, it'll be January 2nd. So by 5 p.m. January 2nd, you have to have your paperwork turned in, and then you'll be on the ballot. It throws a lot of people off because the election isn't until April. Nobody's thinking about April in December.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if anybody's interested, you can contact our city clerk's office, or you can go to stevenspoint.com, and there's a whole bunch of resources there if you're interested in considering running for alderman or even, you know, just want to have a few questions answered. It is a paid position, but it is part-time. I don't remember exactly what it is, but before taxes, it's like $500 a month or something like that, that you get for alderman. There is no requirements other than the fact that you're 18, no unpardoned felonies, and able to vote in your district. So it's a pretty low bar, but I would ask that, you know, if you got a passion for your community, that you consider it, because that's really all it takes.
Absolutely. And even if you can't commit to being an alder on the city council, there is still a way to get involved in the election next year, because obviously the city clerk's office is going to be fairly busy. You're guaranteed to have 3 elections. You could have as many as 4, depending on the need for local primaries in February. And people have to help run those elections. Those ballots aren't going to count themselves.
Right. So we're always looking for poll workers. Very few requirements there also. And that is a paid position. I don't recall exactly what the hourly rate is, but you get paid to help people at the polls as a voting poll worker. So contact the city clerk's office on that. There's also some information available on our website. The clerk does have to go through and certify that you meet all of the requirements, that you're not a no, I don't know, I guess what they are, but convicted felon, that sort of thing.
Convicted felon, yeah, employment
Yeah,
history, things like that.
those sorts
Just
of
a
things,
standard
right?
background check.
Right. Pretty standard. And we do it for all of our employees, right? So everyone is held to the same standard. And then you can get on, and the clerk will submit those names to the common council, who approve them. And then you're a poll worker, and you get to hang out and help people vote, and get paid for your time.
And most importantly, hand out the stickers.
Well, so the sticker thing we usually give to the higher ranking, the people that have had the tenure.
Oh, sure.
That is a coveted job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a broom holder at the highway department or something.
Yeah, indeed.
People aspire to get to hand out stickers. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
but the stickers are a big deal. You would be surprised. Not since I was 7 have I had that much big deal when it came to a sticker. So.
Oh, and and of course the biggest thing about it though is being able to help the democracy function at its highest level, which is that ballot, which of course we are going to fill out 3, maybe 4 times next year.
Right. Yeah. And there's it's my understanding that we may have a referendum, not the city, but we've got 4 taxing entities in the city of Stevens Point. And I'm hearing whispers that there might be a referendum, spending referendum for one of them. So that might happen in April. And of course, we've got the presidential primary and then the big presidential election. I don't know, sometime later. I don't really know much about it. Government is hard.
Yeah, it certainly can be at times. Gives people headaches, and as you can see, it has taken some of the beautiful hair that I had.
Well, this is really
moved.
just a hairpiece. I had this custom made.
Looks good on you though.
It does.
Oh,
sometimes put them backwards. That's awkward.
Well, Mayor Mike, we always appreciate the time. And do you have next month is going to be the season finale? Do you have any? Is there going to be a cliffhanger or a big teaser this year?
Well, I think there will be. I'm debating. I know we've talked about this a little bit. I don't know if we're going to do like the Who Shot JR kind of thing, or will they actually get together like moonlighting kind of season cliffhanger. So, maybe at some point we can talk about, will Mike and Michael actually go to a sports ball game together? Or, I don't know. We'll see.
For me.
But yeah, I think I'm going to find somebody that can do that voice. Stay tuned next year for. I'm going to try and do that.
Good luck. Good. If you're listening to this on Wisconsin Weekend, good luck getting out of your car now with that cliffhanger. We always appreciate the time, Mayor Mike. We'll look forward to chatting again in December.
See you after Thanksgiving.